Hello and welcome to this course, Playing Beyond Classical, using your classical training to apply it to pop music. My name is Lydia Sewell. I am a teacher for WeMusic, and I'm extremely excited to be sharing all this new information with you. A little bit about me: I have been playing the violin for over 20 years and was touring last year on a cruise ship, playing over 500 concerts with Lincoln Center Stage, which was a piano quintet, where we played not only classical music like Brahms and Schumann and Mozart and Beethoven, but we also were playing a lot of pop music. So a lot of Coldplay, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, you name it. So what I learned from that experience, I have funneled into this awesome new course where we're going to teach you how do you take techniques like shifting, double stops, drones, all that stuff, and how do you apply that to pop music? So let's get started. So the end goal of this course, after about 4 to 5 group lessons, is to record your own kind of recorded video of you playing Rather Be by Bandit. So this is an image of me playing it, where in the top I'm playing the melody and the bottom is the harmony. Now we're not only going to cover just those two parts in this course, we're going to be covering harmony, melody, bass, and rhythm. So what you're going to learn in this course, we're going to learn how to break down a non-classical song, okay? So not a piece, but a non-classical song. So we're going to be talking about how do you use learning techniques from classical music. So this would be shifting and double stops and drones. We're also going to be talking about how to practice using the analysis of the score. I'm sure you've all done that in your classical training where your teachers asked you to analyze the score, look at the time signature, the key signature. But also more than that, I will be investigating how do you analyze a piece of pop music in terms of chord symbols or lead sheets. We're also going to be talking about ensemble skills. So how do you listen and lead when playing? Not just leading if you're the soloist, but how do you listen differently? We are also going to be finally covering how to shift your mindset when you play classical music, and how do you change that to popular music? How do you change your expectations? Okay, so let's get started. In this course specifically, in the next 20 minutes, my goal is to teach you a little bit about shifting. So we're going to dive right in. We're going to use the song Bandit's The Rather Be, okay? And if you look at this, I have attached this lick, okay, off to my right-hand side. So if you look right up here, this is probably the hardest part of the song. So if you listen to the song that was attached before, you might notice there's a huge different shift here. So if you've never done shifting before, that's okay. I'm going to teach you a few basic principles in this course, how to shift, okay? And how to start from first to third position, and then eventually how to shift from something like third to seventh position. So let's get started here. So the first technique that I'm going to employ, I'm going to grab my violin for this demonstration. So let me just give you a quick demonstration before so that you can really hear what I'm talking about, okay? Okay. You might have noticed I actually kind of missed the shift because I didn't do the principle that we're about to do. So, there we go. So getting back to the point, how are we going to shift? That's a really big shift. If you've never done shifting beyond fourth or fifth position, that's pretty intimidating. So let's just debunk that shift, okay? So the number one thing I would suggest when you're looking at shifting, and I'm just going to shift this a little bit down, let's look at the score for a second. So if you see here, we have the C, dum, bum, 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 bum. Okay, that's the main lick. So right from, if you look at the second note, the open E string to the A, we're shifting to third position. I'm sure you've all shifted from third to third position at some point, so that's fine. But then if we look at the next, we're shifting from the B, bum, bum, ba. That is a really big, giant leap from third to seventh. So how are you going to get there? Well, one trick that I have been using for a while now is something I call the guide note, okay, or the guide or the anchor note. So in this instance, if you look to the side, our guiding note is going to be our 1. Now the guide note is the note that's in the position that you're aiming for. So this, if you look at the high G here, bum, or the button note, this is the aim here. This is the end goal, guys. So if you put your first finger on the E, we're going to shift from, again, third position to seventh position. We're going to shift from the B to a 1 on the E. Now, we're not necessarily going to be playing the 1, okay? But we will be using the 1 as a guide or an anchor to land the 3. Otherwise, if we don't use any sort of an anchor note, what's going to happen is you're going to be blindly aiming for this end note. And maybe your chances and your percentage of actually landing there are going to be substantially lower than you think. And of course, we've probably all experienced some time in performance where we don't end up making that shift, and we know we practiced it over 50 times, but we still didn't get it. So this is a really quick trick that I'm going to demonstrate for you now in terms of how to shift, okay? So the first step is to, we'll go over that in a minute in terms of looking visually how to shift. But what I want to give you right now in this intro group lesson is a quick tip that you can apply to basically any sort of other piece that you're playing. So let's go back to that lick as we had before. I'm just going to bring it up again. Okay, so so if you keep on, we'll put this to the side, and I am going to demonstrate now. So now we're going to go from the B to the anchor note, which is the E. Okay, so now that we've outlined that, we're going to keep repeating it. And just so you have an idea, I'm going to shift around in my chair so you can see. So we're going from third position to seventh position. Now, our end note, as I said before, is not actually the E. The end note is a G, okay? So once we've outlined that, we're going to be practicing that a few times. So why don't you grab your violin if you haven't already, and why don't you try this with me? Okay, so do that, I would say probably about 5 to 10 times, 10 being the minimum, 5 is being nice, but 10 times. I'm not going to do that here, because you get the point. If you've discovered that actually when you're shifting, you're not hitting it. Also, another trick about shifting is always look at your elbow, okay? So when you're shifting from here, notice that my arm is not moving, or it is moving, sorry. So it's moving from here to here. So I'm swinging the arm around. That's another trick if it's not working. Cool. So let's just assume, pause this video if you can, and I want you to practice that 10 times. Okay. I'm assuming that you guys have all practiced it 10 times, so I'm going to keep going. Once you've discovered and you've outlined this basic shift, now you're going to practice doing it a little faster. And you're gonna, instead of putting all of your pressure on that middle note, on that E, you're gonna release a little bit, okay? So you're gonna release, and you're gonna do a little bit longer bow stroke. Notice when I play, I'm kind of playing the B, release the bow pressure in the right hand, shift on low pressure, play a little bit, almost like a ghost note, and then you're gonna play it full speed ahead, okay? So just to recap, here we go. Okay, don't jump ahead like I just did, but so same principle, just like we just rehearsed that 10 times. I want you to pause this video. Again, the 3 main points: put the pressure on, release, play the G. So I want you to pause this video and do that. Okay, you can do it 5 times. Okay. All right. So if you've paused the video and you've done that 5 times, now we're going to figure out how to put it in context and how to do it a little bit faster. So if you get your handy dandy metronome out, we're going to start doing it a little bit faster, right? So instead of, let's see, let's take it about 80. Okay, we're going to speed it up a little bit. Okay, we're going to go a little bit faster. That's a lot faster. Now, let's practice it in tempo. That was a bit slow. I nailed it that time, didn't I? Okay, so now if you got your metronome out, that was 135 beats per minute, okay? So without even necessarily being able to, maybe you can actually shift to 7th position normally, right? Maybe you've never done that, but I just taught you a fun little trick that you can use, hopefully, to shift a little bit faster. Okay, so going back just to show you the piece of music here. Again, if you look at what we did here, we put the 4th finger, 2nd finger on the B, and this is a note that I added in, guys. So this is an E. Put the 1 on the E, and then 3rd finger. You could always do this a 4th finger, but in terms of the tone, I usually find that the 4th finger is not super strong. Again, your choice. Okie dokie. Let's look a little bit further at shifting as a case study. So we're going to look at shifting here. And we've already covered a lot of these, thankfully, through the demonstration, but this is a pretty awesome little image that I'm going to teach you a little bit more about further in my course. But if you look at here, this is a great visual. If you're a visual learner like me, you can look at each note and what note the 1st finger starts on. So for example, if we're doing 3rd position, you're always going to start off on a G on the D string. This is not new and you probably know it. But for positions like 4th position, 5th position, 6th position, and 7th, which we just covered, again, shifting to the 1 on the E string is your best bet. Okie dokie. So again, this is a really brief, quick overview. So again, what I'm going to teach a little bit further in the course, I wanted to show you what the hardest part about the course is, which is this crazy little lick here. But then we will also be covering a little bit about shifting. So I'm going to include that in the next video, and I hope to see you guys all soon in this course where we're going to learn how to record a video that you dub over with yourself. You can share it with your family and friends. Thanks, and look forward to seeing you guys online.